AskReddit. What's the worst thing you have witnessed on a bachelor/bachelorette party? This isn't going to be anywhere near as horrific as what I'm sure most people will have to say here, but my friend invited an absolute scumbag to her hen party about 7 years ago. Her reputation was that she was trash, but she showed up like a different person and was actually very nice the whole night. She was on her best behavior, buying rounds of drinks, showing a genuine interest in conversations, the whole works. She even offered to look after the coats and bags while we got up to dance. Halfway through the first song we all turned around to find her rifling through everyone's belongings. She locked eyes with us while she had one hand full of banknotes and the other full of someone's cigarettes. She wasn't at the wedding. Wow. Whole party got tipsy. Best man admitted to having slept with the bride. Massive bar fight followed. Groom lost one of his front teeth. The wedding still happened, but he kept his mouth shut in all the pictures. Best man was nowhere to be seen, and the title was given to the groom's other brother. Slept with the bride as in cheated, or before they got serious, because the latter is the only reason why I can see you continuing the wedding. One of the guys had a what happens in Vegas idea about the whole thing and kept trying to get the groom laid. He wandered off to find a hooker. The problem is we weren't even remotely close to Vegas or a hooker for miles, so it was just an ordinary casino night, but with one guy off in the background walking up to random women he assumed would sell their bodies for money. Do people really do that? Go out and get laid as a pre-celebration for their wedding? The first conversation I ever had on Reddit was with a woman who slept with a male stripper on her bachelorette party. She got pregnant shortly thereafter, and about 8 months later wasn't sure if her child would be her husband's or her stripper's, and wanted advice. Bonus, she denied that what she did was cheating, as they weren't officially married quite yet. What a ducking garbage human. The best man got tipsy at breakfast and ate an entire banana without peeling it, and I've questioned if there is a god ever since. This is the worst one. Friend of mine was getting married. On his stag/bachelor party in Newcastle he pulled some girl. Like I've been on a lot of stag dos, but this was the first time the groom has ever cheated. Anyway, he goes home with this girl, then next day we fly back to London. His wife-to-be picks him up from the airport. 20 minutes into the car journey home she asks him why he is so quiet. For some unknown reason he then decides to tell her everything. Wedding gets called off. He then moves up to Newcastle to be with his new woman. It lasts 2 months. He then comes back to London with his tail between his legs. Gets back with his ex-bride-to-be. They eventually got married about a year later. No one has really seen him, since his wife now doesn't let him out of her sight. A good times. Edit. Wow. Didn't expect so many replies. Agree with a lot of what's being said. Like I said earlier, it's the first time I've ever witnessed a groom be unfaithful on a stag. Like I've seen a lot of blokes have strippers all over them etc, but that's kind of expected, and half the time you can see how awkward they all feel. As far as broken trust and conscious etc go, agree with broken trust. He ducked up for sure, and to be fair he deserves everything she gave him. Conscious, tough one really. Personally I think he should have kept his mouth shut and made it up to her by being a good husband when they got married and not doing it again. Last thing I need to add that I didn't. He and her had kids at the time of the stag, 3 of them. That's kind of why I thought he should have kept his mouth shut, for them and the good of the family. I'm not condoning it at all. I do wanna say I think this was kind of out of character for him as well. Maybe that added to things. Hey ho. Last but not least, the best thing for all concerned would have been for him not to be such a ducking idiot and keep it in his pants in the first place. Absolute ducking bell end the fella. His wife now doesn't let him out of her sight. Broken trust is one of the worst things to happen to a relationship. No matter how much you love each other, no matter how good you two are together otherwise, trust is something that can never be fully repaired. We were a bunch of nerds in the 90s. Set up a giant LAN party for our buddy getting married. Someone hired a stripper. She gave us a shopping list of things to get, including a banana. Someone brought a plantain instead. Stripper arrives and is older than all of us. We tried to convince her to play doing. She would not. Half the party just played video games, while the other half awkwardly tried to interact with the stripper. She was not impressed with the plantain. After about 20 minutes she said she would do something really special for the groom if she could leave early. We agreed. She put him in a mask with a dildo for a nose and ducked herself with it. Super awkward. Edit. I think a lot of you are under the impression that we were somehow mean to this stripper. We just asked her to play Dune. She said no thanks, then put on her show. When we gave her the plantain she just said that is not a banana and put it aside. She gave zero ducks about the guys that just wanted to play computer games. She was tipped well and we were very nice to her. No strippers were harmed in the making of this comment. Tough crowd.